Alright guys, we have an update on that information we talked about that comes from Daniel Amat on Twitter, where he said that he's hearing we're going to get some unexpected news about one of Sony's upcoming PS4 exclusives or one of their first party titles. And of course this information comes out literally moments after I upload my video on that. But I want you to know that at the time of this recording, this is not officially confirmed yet. It's coming from Kotaku and their sources, but it would not surprise me if this is already made official by the time this video is actually uploaded. But apparently The Last of Us Part 2 is already suffering its first delay, which is so weird. This is the weirdest thing ever. I do not understand how this can happen. I mean, we literally just got the release date earlier this month of February 21st, 2020. It says the PS4 sequel to The Last of Us will no longer be out in February. Sources tell Kotaku. Publisher Sony has delayed The Last of Us Part 2 to this spring, just a month after announcing the release date of February 21st, 2020. The news is not official yet, and Sony did not respond to a request for comment yesterday, but Kotaku has heard from two people familiar with goings-on at Naughty Dog that the game is bumped to spring. We expect an announcement this week. So this is just so bizarre, and I'm sure that there is good reasoning for it. Are you guys upset over this? I'm not. If I'm being honest, I'm not upset over this. I mean, it's going to be tough to find out that we have to wait maybe a month or 2 months longer, or maybe even 3 months before we can finally play The Last of Us Part 2, but I mean, how long have most of you been waiting to play this game, right? I think that waiting a couple more months, it's definitely doable. It's not that big of a deal, but I will say that this is just so weird of Sony and Naughty Dog to come out here and talk about February 21st. If I'm being honest, I think there's one very particular reason why this has happened, and I think that maybe this is kind of a little shuffling that's happening at the last moment here for Sony, where we've been talking for a little while now about how Sony, apparently, if the rumors are to be believed, is going to have their first ever PlayStation 5 reveal event in February. Now, the thing that confused me about this is when we heard about this, the rumor said that they were going to put a huge emphasis on The Last of Us Part 2, and they were basically going to showcase this game, and that just seems so odd to me, considering it's going to release at the same time, so it just seems like a little bit of a conflicting thing there. I mean, maybe that could have potentially boosted sales, but I think that it just would have really thrown people off, where it's like, wait, this game is out on PS4, but it's being talked about on PS5, and I'm sure most of you understand that the slight conflict that creates. So maybe this is happening not only to give Naughty Dog, more time. I mean, the more time they get, the better, to really just polish this thing off, but to really kind of get it away, like separated from the PlayStation 5 reveal event. This would actually be kind of smart in a way, because if they decide to do this, they can use The Last of Us Part 2 in a more significant way, knowing that it's going to be releasing a couple months after they officially announce the PlayStation 5. This will just kind of, in a way, build a lot of hype, and it will also, I don't know, it won't create too much of a conflict, you know what I mean? Because the thing that would have confused me is, like, if they chose to do this at the same time that the game is releasing, I think it would have really kind of divided the amount of time that we're seeing certain things in the news cycle, right? Because they're talking about the PlayStation 5, that's obviously going to dominate it, and maybe there's a chance that it would be so significant that it actually kind of ends up overshadowing what would have been time solely dedicated to The Last of Us, and that news blowout as well. You know what I mean? So it's just because when the game's out, people are going to be focused on playing the game, sharing the game through live streams and all this other stuff, and putting out content about it. But all of that happening at the same time, or very close to the same time that they're officially revealing the PS5, it sounds like it could be a recipe for disaster potentially in the marketing department there, because they could step on their own toes in a way by doing that. So If I had to assume why this is happening the way it's happened, I think it's because at first Sony and Naughty Dog thought maybe it would be a good idea to release this game around the same time they're revealing the PS5, but after putting more thought into it, they kind of realized actually maybe that's a really bad idea. Maybe it's something else. I mean, it seems unlikely to me that it's because they really need that extra time. I mean, can they use it? Of course they can. They can always use more time. But do they really need it? Like they weren't going to be able to hit that February 21st date. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, it seems like they've waited long enough, and the reason why they waited is because they wanted to announce. They've said it themselves. They wanted to announce it at a time when they really felt confident, like we're not going to have to delay this game. But it seems like again, this was kind of like a shuffling that happened at the last moment. And frankly, if I am on the money here, which I don't know if I am. I'm sure more information is going to come out soon. Hopefully, it's not already out by the time I get this video out. But with my luck, it will be. If I'm on the money here, I think this is a smart thing because the idea of releasing your biggest game this generation at the same time as you announcing the PlayStation 5, like revealing it officially, that sounds like it could be a huge mistake because you're talking about two separate things there, right? You could also end up with confusing messaging where suddenly people are going to see The Last of Us 2 being shown off on a PS5 and they're going to be like, wait, is this a PS5 game, but it just released on the PS4? What's going on? That is a problem they still could potentially run into if they don't get it straight or really think about how they're going to do this. But yeah, some really bizarre and interesting news coming out here. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Are you upset that this is happening, or do you think it's a good thing? Do you not really mind? Me personally, it's not that big of a deal. I'm willing to wait as long as I need to ensure to get it whenever Naughty Dog and Sony are ready to release it. But this does make me really wonder why this is happening the way it's happening. Leave your thoughts down below. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it and you found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.